Number 1. It's one of the most common wheat pennies in circulation, but under the right conditions, the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark becomes a hidden treasure. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a turning point in U.S. history. Right in the middle of World War II, the U.S. Mint was under pressure to produce coins quickly, and in 1944, they returned to using bronze planchets. After switching to steel in 1943, that makes the 1944 penny feel familiar again, warm copper tones. Just like pre-war cents, over 1 billion of these pennies were minted, which means most are still only worth a few cents today. But there's a big twist. If your 1944 penny is in exceptional, uncirculated condition, and especially graded red by PCGS or NGC, it could be worth serious money. At a heritage auction, a 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark, graded MS68 red by PCGS, sold for an astonishing $14,100. Yes, you've heard that right, over $14,000 for a 1-cent coin, simply because of its flawless surfaces, blazing red color, and perfect strike. Even coins graded MS67 red often sell for $500 to $2,000, especially if they're certified and eye-popping. My 1944 penny doesn't shine like that. It's circulated with red-brown tone and some wear, but it's still a great addition to the collection, in average circulated condition. 1944 no-mint mark wheat pennies are typically worth 5 to 20 cents, but high-quality examples can bring in much more. And here's your collector's bonus tip. Some 1944 wheat pennies are error coins, including off-metal strikes on steel planchets. Just like the 1943 coins, only a handful are known, and these mistakes can be worth tens of thousands, even over $100,000 at auction. So if your 1944 penny is magnetic or looks silver-colored, don't spend it. Also watch for die cracks, repunched digits, or weak strikes, small things that could make a big difference. The 1944 no mint penny proves that even in a sea of billions, the perfect survivor can rise to the top, a wartime classic, a collector's prize. Number 2. It might look like just another old penny, but the 1937 wheat penny with no mint mark holds a fascinating story that connects history, rarity, and serious collector interest. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin carries no mint mark, which is standard for coins minted in Philly during that era. Over 309 million of these 1-cent coins were minted, so at first glance, it may not seem rare or valuable. But here's where things get exciting. Condition is everything. And some examples of the 1937 wheat penny in brilliant uncirculated red condition have shocked the auction world. Imagine holding a coin that's nearly 90 years old, yet shines like it just left the mint. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for that. For example, one pristine 1937 no mint mark wheat penny, graded MS67 red by PCGS, sold for a whopping $4,200 at auction. And that's not even the highest known grade. A few coins graded MS67 plus red have reached close to $6,000, depending on the eye appeal and market demand. The beautiful design features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a timeless portrait that was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate his 100th birthday. On the reverse side, the two wheat stalks frame the inscriptions, 1 cent, and United States of America, along with the proud motto, E pluribus unum. Collectors prize this coin for its clean fields, sharp strike, and that stunning, blazing red luster that only comes from coins preserved in mint condition. But beware, most 1937 wheat pennies you'll find in pocket change or old jars are heavily worn and may only be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars. Still, if you find one in excellent condition, especially with that full red tone and minimal marks, it could be a small fortune hiding in plain sight. Always check your coin's color designation, brown, or red, because red coins fetch the highest prices by far. So don't dismiss that 1937 wheat penny just because it's common. Its true value lies in its condition, luster, and preservation. And who knows, you might already have one in your collection, waiting to be discovered and sent to auction. Number 3. This tiny silver-colored coin could be worth a life-changing fortune if you're lucky enough to find it. We're talking about the 1975 Roosevelt Dime with no mint mark, a coin so rare, most collectors will never see one in their lifetime. Now here's the shocking truth. This coin was never meant to exist. In 1975, dimes were struck at all three U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins had no mint mark, Denver coins had a D, and San Francisco dimes, made for proof sets only, carried an S mint mark, but somehow, by a freak accident, a San Francisco proof die with no mint mark was used to strike a few Roosevelt dimes, and the result? One of the greatest modern coin errors in U.S. history. Only two confirmed examples of the 1975 no S proof dime are known to exist today. That's right, just two coins in the entire world, making this dime one of the rarest and most valuable American coins ever created. And when one of those dimes went to auction, it made headlines around the world. In 2019, one example sold for a jaw-dropping $456,000. That's nearly $500,000 for one tiny coin the size of your fingertip. Why so much? Because it's not just a coin, it's a numismatic unicorn. A minting error from a government facility that wasn't caught, wasn't supposed to exist, and yet somehow slipped into the hands of collectors. This kind of mistake is unheard of, and it instantly turned the 1975 no S Roosevelt dime into a holy grail for coin experts. If you think you might have one, look closely, it must be a proof coin, with mirror-like fields and frosted devices, and if there's no mint mark under the date, and the coin clearly shows proof characteristics, it could be worth a fortune. But be careful, there are many circulated 1975 dimes with no mint mark, but those are from Philadelphia and are not valuable. Only the 1975 proof dime with no S, a mistake from the San Francisco Mint, holds that massive value. So check your proof sets, check your drawers, and double-check every dime that looks unusually shiny, because one of these two dimes might just be hiding in a forgotten collection somewhere, waiting to make someone rich beyond their wildest dreams. Number 4. It's just a dime, but it could be worth more than a mansion. The 1894 S Barber Dime, with the tiny S mint mark on the reverse, is one of the rarest and most legendary coins in American history. Only 24 of these coins were ever minted at the San Francisco Mint in 1894, and today, just 9 are confirmed to still exist. Let that sink in. 9 coins known to mankind. It's not just rare, it's a national treasure, a coin so scarce and so mysterious, it's the stuff of collector dreams, and if you're lucky enough to find one, it could change your life overnight. Because one of these dimes sold for over $2 million. Yes, this little silver dime, just 10 cents face value, once fetched $2 million at auction, making it one of the most valuable U.S. coins ever sold. And the story behind it? It's the kind of tale that belongs in a movie. In 1894, the San Francisco Mint struck only 24 Barber dimes, possibly to balance the Mint's financial records or as special gifts for prominent bankers. Some were given to friends of Mint employees, while others were thought to have been handed out as collector pieces. But a few simply disappeared without a trace. One famous legend says a Mint superintendent gave his daughter 3 of the dimes, and she spent one on ice cream. Imagine licking away $1 million coin. Of the original 24, the whereabouts of 15 remain a mystery, and experts believe some may still be hiding in collections or estate boxes, waiting to be discovered. The known 1894 S dimes are heavily protected, graded by top services like PCGS and NGC, and held by elite collectors and museums. One of the finest examples, graded PR 66 by PCGS, sold for $1,980,000. While others in slightly lower grades still cross the $1 million mark. What makes this coin even more stunning is its proof strike. It was not meant for circulation, which means every detail is sharp, and the surfaces are mirror-like. The reverse proudly displays the small but significant S mint mark, letting you know it came from the legendary San Francisco Mint. The obverse features Lady Liberty wearing a cap and laurel wreath, a classic design that defined the Barber series from 1892 to 1916. But out of all Barber dimes, the 1894 S stands at the very top. a symbol of rarity, wealth, and historical mystery. So if you ever come across a coin collection from the 1800s, look closely. That forgotten dime with an S on the back might just be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world, and it could be worth not just thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but over $2 million. Number 5. You've seen it before. A shiny golden dollar coin with a soaring eagle on the back and a proud Native American woman on the front. But what if I told you that your 2000 Sacagawea dollar could be worth thousands of dollars, depending on one shocking detail? Let's break it down. This $1 coin, first issued in the year 2000, features Sacagawea, the Shoshone woman who guided Lewis and Clark across uncharted America. She's shown carrying her baby, Jean Baptiste, a powerful image of strength, courage, and legacy. Now here's the key detail. Look for the PE mint mark, which means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In total, over 1 billion of these coins were minted in 2000, so most are worth face value. But some extremely rare varieties and minting errors make certain 2000 Sacagawea dollars worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors. And the most famous of all? The legendary Cheerios dollar. In early 2000, General Mills placed 5,500 Sacagawea dollars inside Cheerios cereal boxes as part of a nationwide promotion. But here's the twist. Not all of these coins were ordinary. Some had a prototype reverse design, where the eagle's tail feathers were more detailed and sharply struck, a design different from what was released into general circulation. These special Cheerios dollars are now among the most valuable Sacagawea coins ever discovered. One of these rare Cheerios varieties graded MS68 by PCGS sold for an incredible $10,500 at auction, and even lower graded examples regularly fetch $3,000 to $7,000, depending on the condition and certification. So how do you know if you have one? Check the reverse. The eagle on a Cheerios dollar has enhanced and deeply sculpted tail feathers, unlike the flat, simplified feathers of the regular issue. Also, look for coins that were sealed inside original Cheerios packaging. Those are strong candidates for being the rare variety. But that's not all. Other rare 2000 Sacagawea dollars with minting errors have sold for over $5,000. Double strikes, off-center errors, and even missing edge lettering on later versions can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a jackpot find. So before you spend that golden dollar, take a second look. If your 2000 Sacagawea dollar is in uncirculated condition, still shiny with full luster, or shows unusual details, it could be worth far more than $1. And if it happens to be one of the Cheerios prototypes, you might be holding a coin worth over $10,000. This is why collectors love the Sacagawea series. There's hidden treasure in plain sight, and it's still being discovered to this day. So dig through your change, search your drawers, and check your old cereal boxes. Because your 2000 Sacagawea dollar might be a golden ticket to serious cash. Number 6. It's one of the most overlooked coins in your change, but some versions of the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar have sold for hundreds, even over $1,500 at auction. Struck in the first year of the series, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar was America's bold step into modern coinage. It was the first small-sized dollar and the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real woman from history. The obverse shows a strong portrait of Susan B. Anthony, surrounded by stars, with the mint mark just above her shoulder. The reverse features the powerful Apollo 11 design, an eagle landing on the moon with Earth in the background, honoring the space race and America's greatest mission. But here's where it gets exciting. This coin was struck at 3 different mints in 1979, and each version holds its own value depending on rarity, variety, and condition. Let's break them down, one by one. First up, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar from the Philadelphia Mint. Most of these have the narrow rim, also called the far date, where there's extra space between the rim and the numbers in the date. This is the most common version, and in circulated condition, it's worth only face value, but in gem uncirculated condition, it can be worth more. One example graded MS68 by PCGS sold at auction for $106. Next, we have the scarcer 1979p wide rim variety, also known as the near date. Here, the date is pressed closer to the rim, and the edge looks thicker and more bold. This was a transitional design and far fewer were made, making it a valuable find for collectors. A 1979p wide rim in MS67 condition sold at auction for an incredible $656. Now let's move on to the Denver Mint version, the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar. This one has a D mint mark, and like the Philadelphia issue, it's common in circulation, but in high mint state condition, it still has value. One MS68 example sold for $138 at auction. Now for the most exciting part, the 1979 S-proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. These coins were never meant for circulation and were made specifically for collectors, with mirror-like fields and sharp details. There are two types of 1979 S-proofs. Type 1 has a blurry, filled S mint mark. Type 2 has a sharp, clear S, and is much rarer. A Type 1 proof in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition has sold for over $80. But the real shocker is the Type 2 proof. In 2007, a 1979 S Type 2 Susan B. Anthony Dollar in PR70 deep cameo sold at auction for a record $1,500. That's the highest auction price ever paid for any 1979 Susan B. Anthony Dollar. So what should you look for? Check for the wide rim 1979p, worth hundreds in high grade. Search your proof sets for the rare 1979 S Type 2. And remember, condition is king. Even a common coin can bring top dollar if it's certified in MS68 or PR70. So don't ignore that dollar coin in your drawer. It could be a hidden gem worth $100, $500, or even over $1,000. Number 7. At first glance, it might look like just another golden dollar coin, but the 2010 Sacagawea Dollar is part of a unique modern coin series that many collectors are starting to pay close attention to. This coin features the proud image of Sacagawea, the Shoshone guide who helped Lewis and Clark navigate the American frontier in the early 1800s. On the obverse, Sacagawea is shown carrying her infant son, Jean-Baptiste, a symbol of strength, guidance, and resilience. Flip it over, and unlike earlier issues, you'll see that the reverse changes every year, part of the U.S. Mint's special Native American $1 coin program. The 2010 reverse design honors the Great Tree of Peace, a central symbol in the culture and diplomacy of the Iroquois Confederacy. It shows a native man planting a tree, with 5 arrows bound together to represent the strength of unity among the 5 nations. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark just below the date. Over 48 million of these coins were minted in 2010 at Denver, so it's not considered rare in circulation. In circulated condition, it's generally worth face value, $1, but when it comes to collector-grade examples, there is potential for higher value, especially in high mint state or satin finish condition. A typical uncirculated 2010 Sacagawea Dollar in MS65 condition may be worth $3 to $5, but in MS67 condition or better, auction prices jump significantly. One example graded MS68 by NGC sold for $150, making it the highest auction result for this specific coin so far. Even more valuable are the special strike versions, for example, satin finish coins from US Mint sets, or coins graded with full luster and zero contact marks. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with perfect edges, full strikes, and bright golden tones. Another factor? Errors and varieties, double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet issues on a 2010 Sacagawea Dollar can bring values of $50 to several $100, depending on rarity and condition. So how can you tell if your coin is valuable? Look for brilliant, untouched luster, sharp details on the tree, arrows, and lettering. High-grade certified condition, MS67 or higher. Any minting errors or irregularities. If you find one that meets these traits, it could be worth far more than $1, especially if professionally graded. The 2010 Sacagawea Dollar may not be ultra-rare, but it's a modern collectible that's gaining more attention every year, so don't toss it aside, because you might just be holding a high-grade treasure that collectors are ready to pay for.